人哋好多都係咁啊。Drive all the way up to the cemetery, make a left. We all here. Yeah.
It's like a really
all the way up. Drive all the way up. You see the waterfall. Make a left. I know exactly. 當時有啲時間。
啊，做係唔使做晒嘢先，係啦，做快上位先。可能要掹減啲香去後邊啊，小心啊！紙巾啊，有冇紙巾？呢度係咪中間好似唔係好中咁嘅？
中啦，中到中啦，啊得唔使講嘅。
大家睇咗你正宗咁就得㗎啦，係啦，咁高質就係中嘅。四邊咧一扣落去，扣啱啱好隻豬實咗，就可以有好味啦。
All right, just want to say a few words. First of all, greatly appreciated all the people that make it down here today. It's a special day for my dad. He's in a better place now, no longer suffering. I know the last couple years he's been suffering with the skin cancer. Now he's free, living up there, looking out after us. And then I just want to say thank you for everyone, every little effort you put in. He's in a happy place. We put in a handful paper pictures on the board. Just want you guys to one last time seeing his smile and remember that's what he looks like, you know. And he touched many lives in his life. Make a lot of changes and definitely what to say. I don't want to get emotion, but you know, it's kind of happy to see all the people here that matters to his life and matter to us, and it's all here. And then just want to wish one thing I learned from my dad pass. Take some time to the best gift to your elders, to your parents, is spend some time with your parents. You know, have a moment, spend time with your loved ones. Say it to your loved ones, say, I love you, I miss you, and it's okay to be corny sometime, but you gotta let that shit out, you know? All right, so just wanna say I love all you people here today to make it down here, people who've been with me for all these years, people actually taught by him. We got friends coming out from LA, flying in from LA, flying in from Texas. I appreciate all of it, and let's have you know, anyone want to stand out here and have a few words about my dad, have a few words about how you feel about him, you know, happy to do so. So here we go. Say hi to your guys, say hi to the old man. So anyone want to have a few words to share? Jamil's been with me for all these years, and you've been with my dad for all these years. You know,
the things that he taught me, it'll always be with me. He'll always be with me, you know.
Yeah. My name's David Cameron. I'm one of the first students of Sifu. I met Sigong before I met Sifu. I met Sigong and his whole family on a China trip. One of the funniest stories I have with him was, I'm kind of a jokester, some of you that know me. So he came to a motel that I worked at, my family owned. And you know how Sigong is very serious, you know, most of the time. And so one day I decided to surprise him, and I put some fake teeth in. And it had the gold tooth, and it was all bad. And he came in, oh, hey, right? I went, how you doing? And I had these teeth out, and he just went, oh, right? And I never seen the guy laugh so hard and smile, and it was a good moment. He's a legend. He's a great man, and the proof is in the pudding right here. How great Sifu is. So he'll be missed, and thank you all. Thank you.
I'm just going to say the word gratitude because of Sigong. We're all here. He brought very special people. Me personally, my life's one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. Young Jordan, the whole family. It's because of this man and his wife that they made a beautiful family, and also the legacy in the martial arts. And there's a saying that says that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience. And that's the truth. We're here for whatever amount of time that we are here. He will always be with us, always with you, and Jordan, in every fight, as you know. And God bless him, and forever may he protect us.
Thanks, Jordan.
Hey everyone.
Hey, John.
How are you? Hello, how are you? Watch me. Follow me. Low, 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 low. Yes. I met his father in 2001 and he didn't speak any English except that. So I had to learn to communicate with him in Cantonese. He's the reason I speak some Cantonese now. And he's a fierce Kung Fu teacher, but because we couldn't communicate, it was all just me making fun of him and laughing. We had a really great relationship because he didn't have to be my father. We were just like, he's like, cool. He just kind of let me do what I wanted. The day I asked for his daughter's Ling Hai Bin Doa. Ling, okay. The day I asked for his daughter's hand in marriage, I had been practicing this Cantonese phrase, and I didn't know any Cantonese yet, and I was practicing. And I said, Dad, I have something to ask. And we're all eating, and he goes, what? I go, can I marry your daughter? And he goes, points to the bedroom and goes, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, what? I don't know all the traditions, so I didn't know, like, I wasn't prepared for, like, I didn't know what to do. And then Guy was there. Where's that guy? Guy was there, and he said, Dad, he said, he wants to marry Ling. And Lo Dao said, oh, I thought he said he wants to go take a nap. So we couldn't communicate like at 100% like ever, but we got there eventually. And he had so many stories. I'm sure he took some with him, but he did share a bunch. One day we were at his hometown, and he said something that it took like weeks and months to unpack. He said, yeah, when I got out of jail, the political prisoner, when I got out of jail, there were 30 bodies hanging in this tree. And that's when I realized, like, this guy's lived a life that I will never, ever fully understand. Because, like, my biggest problem growing up was that we went to Wendy's instead of McDonald's. And this guy grew up so poor, that his nickname, Ma Yu Keung, the Keung who sells fish, his nickname comes from the fact that he would sell fish during the day. I'm just quoting your story here. Sell fish during the day, and then at night, close it all down and have illegal fight club at night. And so he would serve people and then kick their ass later at night to win money to bring food home. This guy was a legend in a million different ways, and was like the mayor. Every single room that he went into, people knew him, and he remembered their name, and he would have to go, John, Keung Sok, and he would tell me how to call this person, and he would tell me where he met them. And my guess is he probably has 100,000 people that could also be here, but are just too far away or maybe dead now. Like, if you measure a life by how many other lives it touched, he's had one of the greatest.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna miss him. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming.
I'm gonna keep getting a couple more people out, but before that, kind of triggers me. Remember, my dad's one of his favorite phrases. In Chinese, is 肚餓眼空行, means when you're hungry, you got no food in your stomach, you need to puff your chest out, you walk around, feel like you just have a big dinner. And that's what you want people to remember you. Don't ever let people remember you when you're hungry, you got no food. So I'm hungry, I haven't eaten for a whole day, and I'm stuck in my chest out. I'm gonna walk out, pretend I'm right after a big meal in a big restaurant. That's the kind of attitude you have to carry all the time. Don't ever let people think you're hungry. And, you know, hungry, it's inside you, but the way you look, it's not a good impression for people to know. And another phrase that he always say is, you know, many people in life, they always say, oh, I wish I born like a Bill Gates, a son. I wish I born a so-and-so. I wish I know so-and-so. I wish this guy have this opportunity and I have this opportunity. Opportunity is equal. Some people see it, some people don't. Just remember that. Opportunity is equal for every human being that's living on earth, and everyone have opportunity to climb up. Some people see it, some people don't want to grab it, some people go for it, some people just hesitate. But every human living on earth, you seize opportunity, it's always there. So discover that, make sure you grab it and seize it, make sure you go for it. And then that's his attitude. My dad is a funny guy. He's pretty well known for his eloquence. We call it poems. My dad's very good to make. In the modern day, we call rap. My dad would start rapping in his 80s, 90s. And he would say all these crazy Chinese words just non-stop. And then just people like, I never even know what rap means until I moved to the United States. But he would start rapping even, during the day, go to work, get some dinner, go to sleep, wake up another day, blah, blah. He would just turn into a conversation, into rapping in Chinese. And people would be fascinated because like, oh, this guy have an excellent eloquence. But back in the days, we don't know what that is, So nowadays in the U.S., we call rapping. But he would start doing that. And my dad is kind of like influenced me ever since when I was a little kid. My dad loved to talk in the spotlight. And as soon as he'd be sleepy, didn't sleep for a whole day, work all long hours. And then as soon as you have a spotlight on my dad, all of a sudden he just, what? Okay, now let's start talking in demonstration. Like, he's opposite than most people that a lot of people, when they're shy in the spotlight. To my dad, it's opposite. As soon as the spotlight comes, he would transform into a whole nother person that you don't even know what it is. And he doesn't even know what he's gonna his reaction, but he's a character and touch many lives and then makes a lot of people laugh. And then that's his life story, partial of it, Sam.
We were at the mission, the outer mission school, and his dad, I didn't know his dad was there, doing wooden dummy for 3 hours straight. I just learned the form. I was like fascinated, and I was doing it for 3 hours. He comes in, he's like looking at me, and I said hello in Chinese and Mandarin, and then he speaks some Mandarin, and he's like, oh, you speak Chinese? I'm like, yeah. He's like, good, go do sub G. And I'm like, oh, it's just about to go home, And so he goes, go on the mats, do sub G. I'm like, okay. And I'm like exhausted, 3 hours practicing nonstop. My arms are swollen. He's like, when you're doing Kung Fu, you're just doing the motions. You're just dancing. He said, you have to have intent. I don't believe you. You're not really trying to kill anybody. He's like, and then he kept just yelling, kill, 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 kill. I don't believe you. Kill, kill. And Sifu stuck his head out of the office and was like, and I'm just like, and then but something snapped, and I get this like second wind, and like this psychotic part of my brain like clicked over, and I was just like, I get it now, and I was like, like as hard as I could, and stuff like that, and then after 45 minutes, he goes, okay, I believe you, you can go, and then and then I saw him again at a tournament in San Jose, and he came up to me, he goes, I remember you, you're my son's student, the guy I taught you how to kill, and when we were practicing, he grabbed my arm. And I still as a tattoo, I can feel it. Like, if I don't know if you ever touched a dead body, but you can remember the feeling. It was the feeling when he grabbed my arm. It's like an imprint, like an invisible imprint. I feel his grip. I was like, this guy could just rip my arm off and kill me. And I was like, wow, it was such an honor. And, if it wasn't for Sigong, it wouldn't be no Sifu, no Dragon House, and none of us would be here. And just thank everyone for coming. And I'm glad he's... if he touched any of your lives, even a 1% as much as he touched mine, I think you're very lucky, and we're all very lucky. Thank you, guys.
There was no need to ask any questions because he would look in your eyes and show you, if you were going to grab somebody around the neck, you're going to do it like you were trying to break their neck or pull them in. It was a super honor to be here and to train with Sigong. It was a wish of mine as a kid to train with you and Sigong, guys like that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
When I met Sigong, it was really exciting to be in the presence of someone who lived a very, very lesser known part of history and whose life was shaped by that and was willing to shape other people's lives, to teach lessons from those difficult times. So those of us who were lucky enough to know him got to learn those lessons without having to pass through the hardship. And it's really, really rare to come across that in life. And he just touched a lot of lives. Like the cliche is, a pebble thrown in the water sends out ripples. Well, it's a cliche because it's a truism. And I'm honored to know you. I'm honored to have spent a little bit of time with him. And crossing his hometown with the man, a 10-minute walk would become a 30-minute walk because everyone knew him. He was the president of that town. It was really interesting. And thank you all.
Paradise. So I got a little story with Paradise. You see the picture of him with my dad. So Paradise is a Samoan kid. So my dad don't speak any English, right? So all he knows is like, what is this guy? I say he is mix. He's not white, he's not black. What is this? It's not normal. I said, Dad, there's a lot of other races besides black and white and Asian. So what is it? He's black, right? I said, no, he's not black. He's Samoan. What does that mean? So I have to translate to break it down. Samoan and in Chinese say Samok Yan. Sort of, right? So my dad called him a desert boy in English, in Chinese. Oh, Samok Jai. I said Samok Jai. No, it's not, it's Samoan. Oh, Samok Jai. So my dad calls him the desert boy. And my dad remember this kid. He was 12 or 13 years old at the time, maybe 12, I think, 12 or 13. So my dad has always remember this kid. Is like, he has really nice sidekick. Make sure you use that in the fight. I said, Dad, he does. So
Yeah, well, I was very young at the time, but I knew the presence and Si Gung's presence and his status and how legendary it is at a very young age. So every single time that I have the opportunity to see Si Gung here in the States or at the gym, I always wanted to make sure I showed my respect because it's just his presence is his alone. You can feel it the moment he's in there. I think I was very young. He's sitting there at the sitting down. I think everyone's in the Kung Fu. I'm on the MMA side, but you can see him. He's getting up, and it's just his presence alone. He's just so dangerous. One thing that I've always goaled myself is trying to be a martial artist, and he just exemplifies all of that. And as a young kid, I remember also as an interaction. Growing up, he's coming back to the States. I'm actually doing MMA. It's taken off. I think it's in my amateur fights. I think it's one of those pictures there. I know Si Gung was a man of very few words, but right, I think we all learned that about him. But one thing that every time I see him, he would go, number one, number one. So I took that with myself, and I would use when I see the young, like number one, number one. So I just remember that one of a very positive reaction, and I know that he'd be sorely missed, and he's just had so much experience out there. So my love and my respect and all of it goes out to Sifu and the family. Same for me and Jamie. So with that being said, Sifu, I love you.
love you too, man.
That's all over.
So the story going back to why my dad always said number one. And I always tell my dad, I say, Dad, there's number one and number two and number three. No. Don't learn number two, number three. Always number one. Only number one. I say, what about someone better than you at what you do and make you become number two? He's like, a number one is how you think of yourself. It's not what other people look at you. You always think of yourself, it's number one. You are the best. It doesn't matter what you do, you are the best. And don't ever think about yourself number two. Other people beat you, that's different look. You always number one to yourself. So I always remember, no matter what you do, you always want to be number one. That's all my dad knows. Every time he sees a new friend or something, his name is Dave. Dave, number one. That's his favorite word. So a lot of people kind of take that granted. It's like, I met Sigong a few times, all he says is number one. I said, that's all you want? It's number one.
That's his favorite number.
Russell, have a couple words. So Russell has been with me probably in the 90s. In the 90s. So have a few words.
Well, I'm very honored to be here. I heard a lot said, and I'm grateful. I like that word, grateful, for each and every one of you. Shifu was someone I really looked up to. I'm a former Navy SEAL, and this guy is another level, and it was an honor to meet Sigong. I remember he called me up so excited, and when Sigong met me, he called me by my first name. He said, "Oh, Fei Lo." I love to eat, and we had that in common. I'm very lucky that I was fortunate enough to marry a beautiful Chinese lady, and she taught me a little bit of Cantonese, and I even remember Jordan when he was little. My wife used to carry him around when he was a baby, and
Yeah.
What an honor, to have spent some of my time. I was privileged enough after my military career to have a security company. I had an executive protection company in San Francisco, and we ran all the nightclubs. And, this is the reason why I came home safe every night. It's not easy living in that kind of a world. And it was like gladiator school. But these guys taught me how to come home safe and respect, and they taught me honor. They taught me principles that I needed in my life, because without that, I would have been in a lot of trouble. I was going down the wrong path, and I would have ended up dead or in prison had I not met this wonderful man and his father. And I'm a little choked up because they mean the world to me. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Russell. Bert, come on up. Have a few words. Come on. Let's go, young man.
Yeah, not bad. I met John's father a long time ago in the early 90s on a trip with the Wing Chun group to Busan. He was a gentleman, a true gentleman. And we played together a little bit and had an exchange, even though we didn't understand what we were saying to each other. And I considered him a great man and a friend. And thanks to him, a lot of you guys have got a better life. You learned honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
I don't know if you guys, any of you remember Sigung's thumb. You guys know Sigung's thumb, this giant callus that he worked on every single day. And I asked him one day, I said, what is this for? And the translation's like, this is the secret weapon. I'm like, okay, well, how do you use it? He's like, right to the temple. Fucking killed him. And I'm like, well, okay, well, what if you don't want to kill somebody? He's like, break the ribs, And just every day, I think there hasn't been one day that I haven't thought of Sifu and Sigung in my life and the impact that they had on me. When I first came to San Francisco, I was kind of lost, didn't really know what I was doing. There was like a school I was vaguely going to go to here. First night, we parked in our van, this girlfriend I had at the time, and I wake up in the morning and there's fucking crackheads everywhere, people doing heroin on Folsom Street, and I'm right outside Sifu school. So something stuck with me, and it was like a light went off in my head. Like, don't be afraid. Okay, this is what I needed in my life. And I came back with a friend of mine, and we're riding our bikes. We come in, and Sifu's just pacing around the room. Pacing around. I don't know if you guys remember Folsom Street, the red floors. There's 3 people in there training, and Sifu's like this caged tiger. I'm like, whoa, what is this guy? We talked to him. He's like, do you want to fight? I'm like, no, I just want to see what's going on. He's like, okay, put out your hand. And years later, it kind of clicked that this was a test. He's like, to see the respect. And he's like, punch at me. I'm like, I'm not gonna punch at you. I can tell you're, So I put out my hand, and he goes, he slaps away my hand, and 20 punches go by my head. Just as fast as you can think. And it's not that he missed me because he was touching me, but it was so gentle. My head was moving back and forth. I'm like, whoa. So we left the school, and my friend like, that was insane. And I'm like, I'm going back. He's like, you're insane. But, over the years, Sigung would make trips, and Jamil asked me one year to film Sigung, and we spent, almost 100 hours doing different lessons. And with so few words, Sigung could make you understand everything about what he was doing. Because it wasn't about the words, it was about the actions. And I think that's, to me, what was most powerful about Sigung is that he lived what he talked, and he didn't have to say it, because you could feel it about him when he walked in the room. I know somebody mentioned his presence. It was like a different century walked in the room, like somebody from a different time, a different place walked in the room, and you could see what he had gone through, in his life. And how few people can say that they went from someone being tortured, someone being, hunted and practicing in secret, to now he's a national treasure. Now they make documentaries about him. Now he's considered like the height of Chinese culture. And why is that? Because they couldn't beat him. They had to join him. They had to give in to his power because he was not going to give up. They put him in prison. They tortured him. He almost died several times. And he would go right back out and illegally teach his students. And that taught me something, is that when you stand for what you believe and your principles, the whole world will change. The whole world will move to your point. The whole world will see your truth. And that's what Qigong represents to me, is somebody that changed the world against all odds. And look at all the people here, all the different races from all over the world, every different heritage, and he had a positive impact on our lives. And I just think that's beautiful. And thank you, Sifu, for the opportunities that you gave me. And this man saved my life and changed my life, and gave me so many times he's like, no, X, that's stupid, stop doing that. Just about normal things in day-to-day life. And it's like somebody that cared enough to tell me I was wrong was exactly what I needed so often. And when I didn't have a family, you guys were my family. Sifu was my dad. Qigong was my grandfather. My uncles, Jamil and Akbar, and my family rejected me or didn't want me or need me in their lives. But every day, Sifu would give me a call. Hey, I need this. Hey, come over here. He'd bring me duck from the Chinese restaurant. And just those little things were so important to me that every day I walk in those footsteps and consider myself a student and disciple of the Bakme tradition, 9th generation. And everything I do, I believe that God brought me to this man and his father to show me how to have integrity and walk what I was believing against whatever the world says. So thank you. Thank you, Super.
Boy, Texas. Did you know that Qigong gave you a name?
Yeah, the king of the homeless.
The color of the homeless people, because you were living in a van. You have to earn a name.
I know.
You don't get a name, so you have it. Nice to finally meet the emperor again.
Brian, have a few words.
Qigong was the man, and Sifu was the one that taught us the way. I met Sifu right out of high school, and he just helped me know how to grow up, how to stand up, a little bit taller, how to look at people in the eyes and be like, you know what? I'm down. I'm with it. And I got a lot of respect for Qigong. He's definitely a legend. And I remember when I was first learning the Kung Fu, he gave me a similar story where he just said, show me your set. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I did the best I could. And then he gave me some feedback. I didn't know what he said. I'm like, Jordan, can you know what he said? And he's like, you put your eyes into it. I'm like, oh, move with intention, have intention behind everything you do. And that really stuck with me on everything I do. And I keep that in heart. And I also take care of the trees around here. So
Nice.
even when I'm taking care of the trees around here, I keep his lessons in mind and in heart. And I'm very grateful and blessed to have met this legend. Thank you.
All right.
Number one.
Well, I knew my grandpa for a number of years. Very proud man. And I think that trickled down in the bloodline a little bit. But, he was, again, probably to most of you guys, a man of very few words. But for me, it was quite the opposite. I remember getting lectures about life, kung fu, and whatnot for many, many years growing up, especially when I was going to Zhoumyo back in Fusan. And we would be spending hours and hours just learning really, really simple, but, simple forms. But I think the gist of it was all about discipline and being intent. I think that was the big theme. That was his thing, was being, do things with intent and be proud while you're doing it. And so that was kind of some of the things that I took from him. And even though we didn't talk as much later in life, I think I can take away that being more present with family is something that I need to be more active about. And I'm glad that I can see his presence and his influence spread to everybody here and everybody who's not here. So I want to thank everybody for coming out, thanking everybody to helping Sifu, and hopefully we can kind of keep his memory going forward and positive.
Well, my dad, obviously, you guys know, he was the creator of the Dragon House. Now I'm carrying the torch, and I'm passing on to my son he'll have an option someday when he get older where they want to continue this journey or not. And I'm passing on to my daughter as well. Give them the option whether they someday want to take over or not. But my dad, it's always talk about his dad when I was with him. So my grandfather passed away when my dad was 7 years old, and he got murdered. Basically, politics and whatnot, and that's a whole nother story. So when my dad passed away, when my grandfather passed away, my dad was 7 years old or 6 years old, and then my dad had 3 brothers and a sister, and they all starting to working at the fish market to make a living, and then supporting my grandmother, right? My dad's mom, yes. So, and it's a long story, and then watching my dad start teaching probably in the late 80s, and that's what the school starting to call it, you know, our lineage of start teaching at that. Basically, in the late 80s, Dragon House kind of created it. And then I brought it to the US, and now it's nationwide. We have Dragon House in Russia, Dragon House in Germany, Dragon House in Athens. We pretty much have Dragon House everywhere. We're about to have a Dragon House in Ulaanbaatar next year in Mongolia from one of our MMA fighters. So I just want to, you know, be happy to carry the torch, spread out the seas, and just hopefully everyone can enjoy part of his story and then carry on the spirit. And, you know, he's lived forever now, so he's up there. So once again, thank you for everybody to make it down today. Anyone else want to share a couple words? All right, don't want to take too much time from everyone, and everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming out. One last time, you can check out the picture right there. That's a last memory of, you know, of my dad, you know. My wife, Christina, you want to have something to say? You met my dad briefly before he went back home. Do you want to have a couple words? All right, come on out. Yes. All right, it's a happy day.
I know.
Take a deep. Take a deep breath.
Sorry. Lo Dao. I didn't grow up with a father. And I only met him once or twice actually when we first started dating, and when we went back to China in 2019 before he got sick. He treated me really well, and I always wanted our daughters to meet him in person, but we didn't get a chance to do that. But they got to talk on WeChat a lot. But every time I see Jordan train and our daughters train, I think of him, and you know, he just means so much to me, and I appreciate all the values he's instilled in him to be such a good husband and a good father and a good family man. And we're gonna miss him, but very happy that we can come visit him here, and our daughters and our family can continue his legacy and talking about him here with him. Thank you everybody for coming.
All right, guys, once again, thank you for everyone coming down. Greatly appreciate it. Oosh. Yes.